If only it was simple, black and white. An easy answer why parents fail their children, why children fail their parents, why we fall, where we fall. No, reality is pretty hard. There are no easy answers, no rhymes with all the reasons why. People fail themselves. There is despair and misery, untellable hardship and suffering, crimes, victims, violence. There is a ministry,
that God takes the initiative in finding us.
A man who represents another part of reality. Some might say the real part, the good part. For the past 7 years, the ministry and the man have been at the Dane County Jail, facing a very hard part. Most people don't have to stretch too far to imagine what life is like inside a jail. Perhaps the question is, what was life like outside, before jail? What will it be like after jail, if there is one? Uncomfortable. The subject is uncomfortable, and so is the life. The subject is stressful, and so is the life. The reality is painful, and for so many, so is the life.
He's a survivor of terrible abuse. I think he told me he left home at age 7 because he got tired of taking the beatings, so he went and lived in a box. He lived in a box, not a house. And he went to school, not to get an education, but to get fed, because they had food there. And he survived terrible stuff. And of course, he carried some of that stuff with him. And I've sat and listened to his story many, many times. And he's up here because you guessed it, violence begets violence. Domestic abuse. He got charged. He was on probation. He was on a probation hold because he violated his probation, because he spanked the kids. Subsequently, he's struggling with parenting because he never was parented. Guess what? He never learned how. How do we learn parenting? From our parents. Well, he didn't learn very well, did he? But in the midst of that, he tells me his story of anguish, and here's a grown man, macho, that's his word for it, macho, who sits in a little cubicle that we call an interview room, and he cries, and he weeps, and he was in such anguish and such fear of going to prison, which he has to do now because they revoked his probation, which was a gift to him in lieu of incarceration. So now he sits and weeps and cries, and we talk through what's going on with him. Fears, great fears. He was raised in a Roman Catholic background, and he senses and sees those visits in that interview room not so much as pastoral care as almost confessional for him because of his liturgical background. And I know that, and I accept that. He likes to draw, and he draws me pictures, and I finally figured out these are gifts to me. He's trying to say thanks for being a human being to him. And I reassure him that forgiveness is the key that unlocks a lot of stuff. And some of that stuff he will just have to put behind him, leave it be, and go on with his life and his 5 beautiful children and his present wife, and make a life by the grace of God.
With the grace of God and the support of the Madison Area Lutheran Council, Reverend Delmar Getz and others are helping the father of 5, his family, and hundreds of inmates in the Dane County Jail go on with making a life. In so many cases, just by saving it.
Almost by definition, jail is a high-risk environment for suicide. The things that people normally count on as supports to keep going in times of stress, family members, friends, the ability to get away, the ability to have a caring voice there, you don't have access to here in the jail. Phone calls are difficult, very few visits. You tend to be cut off from any kind of real caring presence. Typically, if you're here in jail, you're here because of something that's gone very wrong in your life. A mistake you've made, a problem, chemical or drug or alcohol use. Something's gone seriously wrong. You're cut off from the help and support that you usually rely on. I think the chaplaincy program is one of the things that help address those gaps. It's very hard for people to cope when they don't have some kind of support, someone to turn to, someone that can offer some positive presence in their life.
This ministry of presence, as it has come to be known, is exactly about being
All's
there.
well? Oh, so far? We'll see, huh?
Being present physically, emotionally, and spiritually, in the jail and in the lives of inmates. Every day, the Rev checks the court calendar, then juggles his own to meet visit and other inmate requests, to talk with bailiffs and deputies to find out who's hurting, whose needs are most urgent, and what happened over the night.
Maybe we'll put an extra deputy, or I'll be around.
You better plan on being there.
Yeah. He fires off pretty easy, huh?
He's got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
The Rev attends hearings, arraignments, sentencings, and takes the stand when he feels he must or can. He is with and counsels families through these trials and arranges help for them through other agencies. He walks miles a day tending to the special requests of inmates.
I put in a request for envelope for a card. I'll show you the card. Hey, I know one thing. I sent the request in for you because my son's birthday is Saturday. And I was gonna ask you, and if I could get it out tonight, I might could get it there in time for his birthday.
Where's he live in Madison?
Madison.
We'll get it there. This week, but you put a card in for me?
Yeah, I put it in for you. I don't know if you requested. Me too. And I explained it to you on there.
All right, a boy card.
Yes, sir.
What did you
Miller and Miller. I put in for some envelope for fitness card.
I can find that.
I don't know, but you wouldn't have his address on there to where it would go.
No, I'll bring it back to you, and you'll fill it all out, and I'll take care of it.
Thank you very much.
That's how I do it.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Talk to you later.
Someone needs a toothbrush, socks, underwear, a birthday card, a call to family, a nice used coat, size large, to go to work.
Probably a light fall jacket, right?
Just something suitable for the weather.
Large or extra large?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Someone needs to talk, another cry. Someone wants their own daily bread. Someone needs information.
Jail is not an easy place for people to be, and some people are there for the first time. And not everybody there is a career criminal. Many of the people there are just there because they used bad judgment on one occasion. It's very important they have somebody to talk to that they trust.
Glasses are hanging up.
Information, stamps, dominoes, getting glasses fixed. The presence is about being humane, giving hope, helping with grief and stress in a place that is intentionally harsh and uninviting. It is grief and stress that can and does affect the custodial staff and other workers in the justice system as well.
What are these, charges? New charges?
New charges, yep. Brand new
709 would
charges.
be a new charge.
Yes, it would be.
Oh, that kind of takes your enthusiasm away. Here, I thought we fixed one of them once. And he's back, huh?
He provides a lot of emotional and spiritual support for people. He is also available to police officers who are traumatized from critical scenes that they're working on or that they're witness to.
Otherwise, how's it going?
It's going good. That's a service that's really needed because I think a lot of times people think that police officers aren't human themselves and that, you know, that they aren't affected by what they see and what they get exposed to also.
The Rev's presence, and those before him in this ministry, is one that the Dane County law enforcement community has embraced because for the past 25 years it has proven critical and invaluable in helping staff and social services professionals handle the day-to-day life of managing people in crisis and transition.
When people come into the jail setting, many times they're under a crisis situation. They're being charged with a crime, they're pulled away from their families, friends, the community, and placed into the jail setting. The ministry plays a calming role in the jail setting for those people by being someone to talk to about what's happening in their lives, what's happening in their case, what's happening with their families.
It's really uncomfortable, I think, in a lot of situations for them to speak with a deputy sheriff who's working in there, because what is that deputy's job? That deputy is really there to control them, Sure, they listen. Sure, we expect them to hear what the inmates' needs are. But that's not the same. Del is really the non-employee who is there just to help someone out. And that's what he brings.
And I think what's important about the chaplaincy program is it's one of the few things in this environment which offers the direct presence of a human being. Someone who enters into these bars, comes into direct personal contact with you, and is there in a positive, caring, supportive capacity. There's so little of that. There's so little positive presence in any way. Such a lack of someone who reaches across the boundaries, reaches through the walls and the bars to make some significant personal contact that can make a difference.
You name it, whatever goes on in the world, it goes on for them here too. With minus one thing, they're not out there to deal with it, they're here. So they have to deal with it from behind cell bars.
Reverend Dale has been the only thing that's been constant in my life at this particular point in time.
They want help with some issues, forgiveness and grief and relating to grief and those kinds of experiences and their own guilt and all of that and sin. And that stuff, I guess I call it stuff, that's good theological stuff for me to have to deal with them.
He's always been simple, outgoing, kind and generous.
This ministry is important because we represent the church in a wholly other place for a wholly other God. And we got to be here to help humanize this place, because in our society, the mood is punitive. The mood is very, very punitive, and you can hear it. It makes good politics, but it's not always good policy just to throw everybody away.
And never have I heard from him, you back again, or what you do now, or stuff like that, even though I've been shamed at times to put in the past to see him myself.
The inmates, they're all human beings, see, and we need to remember that. These are all human beings.
Then he sees me and says, hey, you need some toothpaste, you need a comb, or toothbrush, or something like that. The simple things that a guy needs when he's in a place like this.
And why do we do that? Because it helps alleviate somebody's stress and it helps them with their dignity. And they both impact on people's lives. Is that a great thing to do? I think sometimes I put it down as being irrelevant, but I think it means more to them than we will ever understand.
And he makes me feel that I'm significant.
When we finally unpack our stuff and share this stuff with someone else who bothers to listen without judging, without critiquing, but simply hears our story.
That I have a value, that there's something happening with me.
When they share their story and their anguish, the feelings dissipate and they feel better. That's ministry.
That I'm not just an ordinary write-off.
Just maybe we in the church are marching to a different drummer. And
that, hey, that there's something special about me.
Maybe we can at least sow the seeds. We don't have to do the harvesting, but we can sow the seeds for a holy other God who cares about people, all kinds of people, including sinners who screw up their lives and end up in jail.
That there's something special out in life for me, and that I have something special to offer.
We're simply joining hands with someone who is already here and wants us to be here in his spirit and with his spirit to perpetuate what has been going on since the resurrection, and it's ours to do. I'm not sure that this ministry is ever going to be cost effective, but it's not for us to know, because we're sowing seeds The church is really the only antidote to what's going on in the world anyway. And we're the only ones that can help some people discard their stuff and maybe go on with a life that's respectable and hopeful. It's just not my doing, it's somebody else that's being perpetuated here. Thanks be to God.
This is a presence that has been nurtured and supported for over 25 years by the cooperation of the Lutheran congregations that make up the MALC and share a vision of what belief necessitates. Please help this vital work continue.